Okay, hello, my friends. It's just today, a special day. I just happened to meet my friends, good friends, who's also he was in the Marines, and he's a Vietnamese. He's happened to be just got retired. So we met at the temple today, and I would like to have a few words to share with my friends and my brothers and sisters, my Vietnam veterans. Let me begin with introduce my friends here. His name is Lieutenant Colonel Tuan Pham, and he just retired just a few months ago.
Yes.
I would like Lieutenant Colonel Pham say hello to my friends.
Hello, everybody. Simple 5, your Marines.
There we go.
Once a Marines, always a Marine.
Colonel, well, it's really an honor for me to meet you and your wife today.
Same here. Please call me Tuan.
But I just want to take this opportunity to have a few words with you and to share with our friends. We were refugees. We escaped from the communist to come here, and you and I end up in basically almost the same road. You joined the Marine, I joined the Navy. But it's so special for me to meet you and your wife today at the temple, and to know that we are almost the same background. Even though you're much younger than I am, but I respect that you was a successful career in the Marines, and I want to congratulate you for that, and especially for your retirement.
Thank you.
But anyway, I would like to share with our friends and brothers and sisters here about your career. So when did you join the Marines, and what happened? What made you want to join the Marines?
Okay. Well, before I answer your question, let me say one first thing, get out of the way first. Especially a lot of your friends are Vietnam veterans. I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, and I think a lot of South Vietnamese would like to say the same. Thank you for your sacrifice that you give to the South Vietnamese. Even though we didn't really become a republic like South Korean, a successful, Asian economy, but the South Vietnam lasts, from 1955 until 1975. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for all the sacrifice that you and your fellow servicemen and women did for the South Vietnamese. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the American people for welcoming people like me and my brother Hua, that a lot of my family that came to the U.S. after the aftermath of the fall of Saigon, and we not just me. I know a lot of Vietnamese came here, even though they struggled the first couple of years, but we eventually assimilate and become an American, and like my brother here, I would say I'm an American. So get out of the way. So come on. Thank you. And now to answer your question, your question is how did I came here?
How did you join?
When I growing up, in Vietnam, my dream was to become an officer in the army. Well, because my father was a South Vietnamese Green Beret officer, đặc biệt. My dad was a Bị Kích Diều, and he was killed in action in 1972 when I was only 18 months old. And after 1975, the fall of Saigon, my family was target for removal from the coastal town of Barrier, and they moved us to a place called New Economic Zone. But basically, it's a collective farm experiment. So my family was forced to go to the collective farms for 4 years. And my mom eventually, I was only 5 years old, but eventually my mom and my family couldn't handle the new economic farms life. We have to escape. So my mom left us with our grandparents, and she escaped to Thailand, became a refugee, and got resettled in the U.S., California, San Francisco especially. And after that, she sponsored me and my brother and sisters. Then we, she came in the 1979, and in 1986 we was able to got sponsored to come to the U.S. And I came to the U.S. I always remember it's a couple days before Halloween, 1986. And after 3 years in high school, I graduated high school, and with a little bit of English good enough, I passed the SVAP. Surprisingly, I passed the SVAP. I thought I wouldn't make it. I barely passed the SVAP. I think the AFQT to join the Marines at the time was 31, and I scored 33. And I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and they put me in artillery. So I enlisted in November 1989, became a cannon cocker. But that's what we call it, or gun bunny to the Marines artillery. So that's how I started my military career.
How interestingly, that you know what you just mentioned about your background. Your father was a Green Beret and all that. And you wanted to become a soldier back then, not yet even in America. And the same way for me, when my family was, my brother was in the army, and also my brother-in-law, and my family from basically the Republic of South Vietnam Armed Forces, and my brother got hurt, and when I saw him, when my mom took me to the hospital to see him, and I wanted to join him to become a soldier. And my mother says, interestingly, a very similar way that what we both wanted to do when we grow up. But anyway, so you joined the Marines, and I understand that you joined the Marine as enlisted.
Yes.
Okay. So you joined enlisted, and then after 4 years of Marines, and then what happened? Tell me a little bit. How did you become a commissioner?
Yes. To be a commissioned officer in the U.S. Armed Service, you have to be a U.S. citizen. I joined as a green card holder. In order to live, in order to become an American citizen, you have to have lived in the U.S. for 5 years. So that's why I couldn't become an officer. But I started out, follow my dream. So I enlisted in the Marine Corps first, and I became a U.S. citizen in May 1993. Then I got out of the Marine Corps. I did my 4-year active from November 89 to November 93. I got out, went back to college, and stayed in the Marine Corps Reserve for 3 years. And I went to finish my college degree in 3 years. Well, just like high school, I kind of shortened it every time. Because I just want to, able to, join the Marine, become an officer. I didn't really care what kind of degree that I need. They just want a 4-year degree.
I see.
So that's what I did. I did my college in 3 years, and I got back in via the Officer Candidate School route.
Great. It's really we both really click to each other really well, because his dream was my dream, but my dream got broken. I wanted to become a Navy officer, but I couldn't because I got injured during the year of enlisted. But you didn't went through, which is good for you, man. Yeah. So once you become a Marine, a commissioner, become officer, Marine officer, can you briefly share with our brothers and sisters here a little bit about through over 20, almost 25 years of service, can you highlight a bit some interesting like combat, anything that you have done in the Marines?
Yes, I would say after I became an officer, as you know, Marine Corps officer is totally different from the other branch of service. Once you got commissioned, you have to go to the basic school in Quantico for 6 months, which is very much a light package of infantry, basic infantryman. So because you're trained to be a platoon commander first for 6 months. After that, depend on your class standing at the basic school, and they put you in different type of job. If you're a guaranteed pilot, then they send you to Pensacola to study to become a naval aviator. If you're a lawyer, a JAP, and you go to Southern Virginia to become a lawyer, a JAP, a judge advocate, general officer, you gotta have a law degree by then as well. So, but for me, I graduated basic school after 6 months, grueling training there. Originally, I was thinking about become an artillery officer. I was an artilleryman, but the kind of changed my mind, and the school there trained my mind, and I decided to become a financial management officer. I don't know how that happened because of my class standing. So I ended up become an officer. But later I understand that Marine officers are totally different. They can put you in all kind of jobs. So through my years in the Marine Corps, I got different assignments. Not just being a budget officer or an accountant officer. I started out as an exercise budget officer, basically training and exercise event, planning and budget and money for the exercise for 3rd MEF stationed in Okinawa, Japan. Then somehow I was interviewed and got picked to be an 8-day camp to a general. That opened my eyes a lot. Then I got to be sent back to San Francisco to become one of the recruiting officers there. So I did recruiting tour. I think recruiting tour probably the hardest job recruited in the Marine Corps. You got to sell the Marine Corps to people that a lot of them don't care about military. Then I got to I was selected to attend the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California, where I attend my Master's of Business Administration in Financial Management. And I got to work at the Pentagon for a couple of years. But the Marine Corps always have different things for you. Like I said, Marine officer is totally different from the other service. You are more or less a generalist. You're not a specialist. So even though I was a budget officer, they sent me to Iraq. I spent in Iraq for a full year as an advisor to an Iraqi infantry battalion. So as a captain, I did some advising in Iraq, and I can tell you a little bit funny story about that too. Okay, then after the Pentagon tour, I got to become the comptroller of 1st Marine Division, Camp Pendleton. Afterward, I was sent to Bahrain, where I was an exercise planner and a comptroller there, and eventually my last duty assignments were the comptroller of the 1st Marine Aircraft Wing in Okinawa, Japan. Then that's when I'm going to retire. And I'm very sad to leave the Marine Corps. But one thing I want to go back to answer your question, the interesting part. Here the interesting about being an advisor, Iraqi. Here's a funny story. My dad was a South Vietnamese Green Beret officer. I also had an uncle who was a pilot. So back in the 60s, there's a lot of American advisors that went to Vietnam and trained the Vietnamese military, the South Vietnamese military. And one night, my uncle made a comment to his American advisor officer. He said that you know. I remember the name of his advisor the first time, but he said, Bob. Let's say Bob. I'm Vietnamese. I'm a Buddhist. I believe in reincarnation. What would I? After I die, if I want, if I gonna reincarnate, what I would want to do? And the American officer said, "Why?" And he said, "I want to become an American advisor." And the guy like, why? And my uncle said, well, because many American officers come here, spend 6 months or a year, and you go home. We Vietnamese, we stay by the communists, the VC forever. But interesting,
That's a very good point.
Yeah. That's kind of funny. 40-something years later, when I became a captain in the United States Marine Corps, I went to Iraq and become an advisor to the Iraqi military. And I start seeing all the funny things. We, a lot of Americans go there, we got to live and got to eat healthy food, got to enjoy the American thing, on the base. And go to the Iraqis and we say, oh, you're doing all wrong, this and that. This is an American way, you gotta do it. So it's very, funny and very interesting, and brought me back to my uncle, my dad, generation. How they had to deal with the American advisor.
I see.
I
see. How you got engaged into any combat with the enemy?
It's very frustrating. Spent a whole year in Iraq. We get shot a lot. My convoy was actually targeted twice with improvised explosive device. One charge exploded in front of my vehicle. One charge exploded the back of my vehicle. And I almost got killed by a sniper twice. The round hit top of my head.
Wow.
So I was targeted probably twice. I was lucky, nothing happened. My whole team, nothing happened.
Good.
We get shot a lot. But we also get shot a lot by friendly fire. Our Iraqis, spray all the time.
I see.
But we had no enemy because it is a counter-insurgency war. The enemy, high in the dark, they hit you when they want to hit you.
I see.
And you, American, traveling in the open. So it was very frustrated. So that's how my year of combat. It's totally different from the Vietnam vet in some way. But I'm sure the regular force got to, force on force. We didn't have that. My whole year in Iraq was a lot chasing ghosts.
I see.
And we went busting down door, searching for insurgency, and we capture people. We capture, hidden weapon cache and explosives.
I see. But I
very frustrating.
I say in some way, there's a similarity. The reason being was I spoke with a lot of Vietnam veterans, and also, of course in the ovens, they was had to deal with the guerrillas and the ambush.
Yep.
And it's what you have, and really it's just such a terrible thing that you have no idea what to expect. And I have so much love and concern and sympathy and everything about, especially our Vietnam veterans were there and they have no experience and all this. But it's when in war, it's just so much bad thing happening and you don't even aware of it. And the reason why I'm asking you to come back because I have so much love for our Oven and our American
they stay there and fight year after year.
Today, the young generation they got deployed into the Afghanistan, Iraq, or whatever it is. We pray for them every single day. Well, thank you for that. with over 25 years of service, I mean, there's a lot of sacrifice that you have done and all that stuff. And I know we all do appreciate you. We all do value your contribution to our freedom and democracy here in our country. We are here at we have to say it, 1.5 generations of Vietnamese and Americans, but we managed to serve our new beloved motherland here, and with over 25 years service, I'm so proud of it, and I really have to say, and congratulations, and what you did was awesome, and I know that the Vietnamese American, they're on the way up, and many Vietnamese Americans join the armed forces and become officers, become colonel, become generals. And which you have a few generals here in American armed forces already.
Yes.
But also today, that we also like to mention about today we have a goal to go to the temple. We have I post a few times on Facebook about the lady named Thiet Nga, or Snow Swan. The tragedies, her life for over 40 years, stuck in refugee camp, become illegal person in Thailand, and all sort of things you can imagine. And she eventually become slaves for sex and everything. And I happen to hear Colonel Pham here and his wife. Now we talk about we everything is coming back because we are very freedom here, and the tragedy of the Fall Saigon still taking place, still happening, and we still see it in our own eyes. For today, like we see Mrs. Swan, and it's just Colonel and I here just take a little bit of time to reflect our journeys, our people, our new motherland here, for the opportunity for freedom and democracy. We appreciate so much for the way we have here. Once again, talking about service, I would like to also, Colonel Pham did, said a few words about Vietnam veterans, and he thanks our Vietnam veterans from part of his heart. And I've been saying that for a long time, and still now today, I would like to take another opportunity with Colonel Pham here, saying that our Vietnam veterans, thank you for your service, and thank you for showing us what freedom is all about, and your humanity and your kindness. Again, I would like to conclude our brief meeting here. Is there anything else you would like to say?
I think I said, I think the most important thing was thank you, American, for opening up your arms, accepting the refugee from Vietnam. If it's not for your guys' openness, we wouldn't be in America and flourish. If you look at the way we American with Vietnamese, South Vietnamese background, you have seen, if you go to Orange County, you go to Texas, the Houston area, you go to Washington D.C., the Seven Corner, you see a lot of businesses, Vietnamese. If you open a white page, a yellow page, books, you see a lot of doctors and lawyers, a lot of business, run by,
exactly.
American who came from Vietnam with a Vietnamese last name. But a lot of time, a lot of people don't understand that, we American with Vietnamese descent have contributed to our nation as well. You don't see that publicized much, but I can guarantee you that we have done so, and we continue to do so. We have a lot of second generation American, Vietnamese that in the armed forces now, and we continue to do so. Okay.
Very good. For those, I'm sure that who've seen this video, especially the Vietnamese Americans, I'm sure this is just a reminder, and we know who we are, and we never forget where we come from, and we continue to strive for the best citizen of this country, and don't forget, we have millions of people in Vietnam waiting for the country to be free. So, thank you again.
Yeah.
Very good.